So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hyben. And now, for the review of the day. I got a 5-star from Migdalia Carrero on the Certified Listing Agent course. 5 stars. Thank you for taking the time to create such engaging videos of various rockstar listing agents at their best. I was not looking forward to an online course, but when I began taking it, I fell in love with the ease of use. The fact that we can resume at any time, the multiple choice questions, and of course, the engaging videos. I wish all universities would teach this way. It's just easier to absorb more information when it's fed to you in tiny spoonfuls. Or is it spoonfuls? Smiley face. I think she said when it's fed to you in tiny spoons full. Oh, I get it. In tiny spoons full. Or is it spoonfuls? Okay, I don't know what it is. But anyways, thank you and keep up the good work. Migdalia, thank you. Congratulations. And guys, if you want to be like Migdalia and be the best listing agent in your market, you can get this course for 7 days for $7. Just go to futureofrealestatetraining.com. Keep the comments coming, guys. I love them. And remember, I eat feedback for breakfast, so give me a 1-star review if you want, or a 5-star review if you want. I don't care. And the more reviews we get, the better guests we get. So please, subscribe first, and then leave us a review or wherever you're listening. All right, Real Estate Rockstars, I got a great guest coming from Los Angeles, California. Mr. Ramon Sanchez is on the line. Ramon, welcome. How are you today?
Man, I'm doing great. Full of energy. I just came back from Tony Robbins. So you know how when you go to those events, man, you're like on a high for a good 30, 60 days.
Yeah, man. Well, what was the one thing you took away that more than anything from that?
I think that you got to be intentional. You got to, put yourself in a good state every day before you begin your day, and create some little routines for yourself and just mentally prepare yourself for the day. Because as we and real estate agents, we're in the business of the highs and the lows every single day. And I think that, if we don't prepare ourselves, then, we're going to have a pretty bad day throughout the whole day. I'm on the phone prospecting all day. So, I get more lows than I get highs. So I just got to get myself ready before I make my calls.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. So, Ramon, let's get to some nitty gritty. Well, first of all, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself so they can get to know you better?
No, great. Thank you. Yeah, I'm married. Actually this year will be my 28th year. I'm married, got 4 kids, 3 in college. Actually, 1 just graduated. The first one that graduated from college, he graduated from UC Santa Cruz. I got 2 more still in college. I started when I was 20 years old in the real estate industry. I just turned 48. And so that's been I was 2 years, probably for the first 2 years was part-time. And then I got blessed by being let go of the company I was working at. So I just decided to jump in, go full-time, take the bite and take the bullet and let's rock and roll, and that's been a nice little roller coaster, but it's been a great ride.
Hey, that's awesome. I love that story because, I joined real estate when I was 21 and you joined when you were 20, went full-time at 22. And I think that's a great time to get in, right? Because you can really roll with the punches at that age, can't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing was, I had just, I had just gotten married. So I had my first kid. And so it was a challenge, man, because it was not about me anymore. It was really about, providing for my wife and my 1 kid, so I didn't have a choice but to succeed, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So Ramon, let's look at life today. Like past 12 months, like how many houses did you sell?
Yeah, so the last 12 months, we sold 55 homes. We ended up closing 41. These numbers are 2018. I know we're already in 2019 here. But the numbers, we ended up, I sold 55, we closed 41. GCI was about 570 for the year. Production was around 20.5 million in production. And it was 44% buyers, 56% sellers, business. Um, and my profit margin is probably about 50%, right around 50%
Yeah, that's
after
great.
everything is said and done.
That's
Yes,
great.
sir.
So you pulled 275 or something out of that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Net.
Yeah, net
Hmm.
so 41 settlements, right?
Hmm.
55 sales, 41 settlements. Now, you doing it all yourself, pretty much, or what are you doing? What's going on there?
Yeah, I have my wife is a part of my team, and then I have my main assistant that she works with me. And then I had last year, I had one buyer's agent, actually two that kind of came in for a little bit, and I guess they didn't want to be held accountable, so they ended up bouncing out, and so they only lasted.
No one works
You
as
set
hard
these
as you, right?
Man, you set these standards up for two. You want to help people out, but then they realize, wait, I don't think this is what I really want. So the whole production really, I was, they sold out of my buyer's agent that I had. They sold 4 homes that last year out of the 55.
Oh,
But
okay.
I did most of the production. So this year I decided, hey, I'm going to hire a coach. So I'm hired Lars, from REBS.
Yeah, great guy.
I'm sure. Yeah, great guy. Yeah, so I just hired him as a coach, and so I'm learning how to build the team the right way. I am with KW, so when I came over from Century 21, I came to KW for that reason, to leverage myself out through others. So I'm
That's
learning
awesome.
how to do that right now. Yes,
Very
sir.
good. Okay, cool. So, all right. You're more listings than buyers, which I really like. Why do you think that is? Is that intentional?
That is intentional. I mean, I think we all have heard the good old saying, we got a list to survive, man. List to sell. I mean, if you want to last, you got a list. And so you have more control when you take a listing, especially in this the crazy market that we're in. With lack of inventory. So I'm really focusing every day, on looking for sellers. And the buyers happen to come by because of the referrals that I get, or because of my listings that I have. But my focus every day is I'm going to get on the phone and I'm looking for the sellers that want to sell their property.
Yeah. Again, buyers are a byproduct of listings, right? I mean, buyers will just come out of the air. Listings won't. And so if you're intentional about listings, like you said, you'll last. And you can't do 55 deals, by yourself, essentially, right? If they're all
Mhm.
buyers, there's no way you could do that all buyers. No way, right? So,
Yeah, you won't have a life, man. I don't work Sunday, so I only work Monday through Saturday. So, if
mm,
you're working all buyers, man, there goes your whole weekend.
yeah,
And
forget
so
about
with
it.
four, that's right. With 4 kids, I have a record with all my kids. All my kids play sports, so I made it. A long time ago, I made a commitment that I was going to be there at every one of their events, and so I've never missed any of my kids' events. I have a perfect record with them. Thank God. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
well, that's awesome, dude. Love to hear you're a great dad. That's great. Yeah, I like how you say you have a perfect record. You never missed an event, and that's great. That's great to hear. I love that. So, all right, cool. So, let's talk about like how you're getting business, right? So, Ramon, like how'd you get all those listings, and how are you? What are you actively doing on a daily basis to get listings?
Yeah, so what I basically do, like I said, I'm on the phone. I'm prospecting every day. So I'm an old school Mike Ferry trained agent. You gotta get on the phone and you gotta prospect. I used to be a door knocker. Some years back, I switched over to excuse me, on the phone. So I got Mojo, which is a triple dialer. Excuse me, and then I have all the contact like Haynes directory, Coast directory, and I got Redx. So I'm on the phone pretty much looking for the deals, for sellers, the people I want to sell, and that's basically all I do. My business, where it comes from, 29% of my business last year was obviously from past clients and referrals. But then I did from Mojo, the cost, 20% of my business came from there, which is about 8 deals. and then another 8 deals from Yelp from my reviews, and then some sign calls. I got about 10% of that business came from sign calls, and then from ELP, I'm on the ELP for Dave Ramsey. You got another about 7% of that, another 3 deals there. So that's where my business I'm kind of like have business kind of from little different things.
Well, I really appreciate you breaking that down, and I don't think enough people do that. And it reminds me of myself. I used to do that every year, and that's brilliant. So I don't want to talk about the 30-some% that are past clients, because we all know how, we've heard many people talk about that. I do want to talk about the 20%, because this is something that not everybody does, and it is something that I think everybody should be doing, especially in this environment. It's probably more important than ever for agents to be, learning how to get business on their own without buying business, right? Without basically the only thing stopping them is a telephone, which is free. So, so tell me about those 8 deals and maybe a couple in particular, how you did them, how you got them, so that someone listening to this in Tupelo, Mississippi might be driving down the road and say, I want to be like Ramon. And, that's almost a deal a month. So, and a listing a month. Like, it's not like a buyer a month. How many agents would love to have an extra listing a month? So tell me how to do this.
Yeah. So basically, I'm analytical. That's like, my primary, right? My profile is I'm an analytical guy. So, as a matter of fact, I'm offering the free, tracker that I use, which I emailed you, and all I basically do is and looking at my numbers. So just looking at my numbers, last year I did 8,858 contacts. These are actual conversations that I had.
This is great. You are analytical. You're a tracker. You contacted 8,858. And what do you mean by contact? They picked up the phone?
They picked up the phone, and I gave them the spiel. Say, hey, my name is Ramon. I'm with Keller Williams. Even if they hear my name, Keller Williams, I'm a realtor, and I'm the local realtor, and they hang up on me, that's considered a contact.
Okay.
Because they hang up on me because they're like, I'm not interested, and they hang up on me. That's fine. But they still made me $61.44 because that's how much money I make based per contact.
Ooh, I like this. I like this stuff. So you took the 8 deals, the 8 listings, and you divided them all up, the commissions, you added them all up, you divided them by the number of calls. And so even if they hang up, you made $61. That's really cool though. It gives you a little endorphin rush. The fact that they hung up on you, you know what I mean? There's a win there. So I love that, dude. Okay. Keep going.
Yeah. I always say that. I always jokingly tell the agents that come in my office and they're like, hey man, how do I build my business? I said, well, get on the phone, start prospecting. And they're like, yeah, but this, and they give me all the excuses. I was like, look, and I give them these are my real numbers. So I said, look, I did 8,858 contacts, but I only closed 41 deals out of the 8,858, which basically means that I was failing 99.5% of the time. But that 0.5% that I'm succeeding, that makes me $500,000. So you know what I'm saying? It's worth it.
That's awesome. So okay, so keep going. So let me just, why don't we just role play it if it's okay with you? You call me, okay, Ramon?
Yeah. Ring. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Master Pat.
This is Pat.
Oh, hey, Pat. Ramon Sanchez here, Keller Williams. Listen, I'm calling you because I noticed that you were selling a property here in Banana Street in the City of Industry, and I just wanted to find out: are you going to be interviewing agents for the job of selling your home?
What's up, brokers, team leaders, office managers, and rainmakers of teams? I got a question for you today. What are the 2 most frustrating things about running a real estate team? The 2 things that cause you more headaches than anything else. Think about it. The brokers I've talked to have all given me the same answer: recruiting and retention. If you're in the same boat, if nothing you've tried seems to work, I've got some good news. Your problem finding, recruiting, and retaining high-quality agents are about to be over. I'm launching my new Retoot course, a course that provides an in-depth first ever look at the recruiting and retention secrets of the industry's top recruiters. To kick off Retoot's launch, I'm offering the course along with 2 other high-value items at a super low price to podcast listeners. Since I'm throwing in 2 free items with my Retoot Secrets course, I'm going to simply call it my 1, 2, 3 discount package. Okay, so let me talk to you about the 1, 2, 3 discount package. In addition to Retoot, you're going to get a subscription for each of your teammates or anybody in your office to my Big Profit weekly jackpot emails, which are basically agents from around the world giving advice on how to increase your profit on a daily basis in this business. If your agents put these effective, easy to implement tips to use, their sales and most importantly, their profits will improve. Plus, I'll provide you with a year's worth of monthly sales meetings, content to have at your sales meeting so you don't have to struggle figuring out what to say to your agents or your team. I'm calling it my Lunch and Learn Sales Training Series. That's an entire year's worth of sales meetings that you won't have to plan and that your agents are guaranteed to get massive value from. So to recap, purchasing the 1, 2, 3 discount package gets you 1, my brand new Retoot course, 2, my Big Profit Agents weekly jackpot emails for everybody in your office, and 3, a year's worth of Lunch and Learn training sessions. If you want this limited time package, act fast and go to hibandigital.com/123. Real easy, hibandigital.com/123. Yes, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have to get a new agent. Yeah. I mean,
fantastic.
I'm a FISBO. Am I a FISBO or am I expired?
You're a canceled or an expired because that's what we call, right? But sometimes it's not. Go ahead.
Go ahead. So
no,
we're gonna have to re-interview. My wife and I are talking about what we need to do.
Oh, fantastic. Well, listen, I want to apply for the job of selling your property. I've been doing this 28 years. I'm one of the local realtors here in the area. When are you available so I can make an appointment with you and your wife so I can give you my presentation, show you what I can do, and how I said that last year we sold 55 houses. When are you guys available?
You know, I'd have to check with my wife. I'll get back to you, Ramon.
Oh, yeah, that's a smart thing to do. You always want to check with the wifey, man. You got to keep the wife happy. So, listen, now I'm going to be in your area tomorrow, and I'm going to be there on Monday. What's a better day for you?
Well, yeah, I'm off Monday, actually. I was going to do some yard work.
Okay, so let's say, why don't we do this? I know you want to check in with your wife, and I respect that, but why don't we set up an appointment on Monday? Is better afternoon or evening better for you?
Yeah, well, you come on by when I'm there in the afternoon. I'll just be working around the yard.
Okay, is your wife going to be there, Mr. Pat?
Yeah, she's there.
Okay, perfect. So why don't we do this? Why don't we set up a tentative appointment for 3 o'clock afternoon on Monday? What I'm going to do is I will call you back Monday morning, or my assistant will call you just to confirm our appointment. Would that be fair enough?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So then I'm just going to make the appointment. That's basically what I do.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a cold call,
very straightforward. Go ahead.
Yeah, very straightforward. If it's a cold call, I basically just use the regular. Hey, I just sold a home down the street, and I know when I sell a home, usually 2 more sell right away in the area. I was just wondering, when do you plan on moving?
Great question. I got a senior who just started, and certainly once she gets off to school, she's our youngest, and we'll probably downsize, but it'll be another year.
Another year? Oh, fantastic. Perfect. Well, I already have your information here. Here's what I would like to do. I would like to stay in contact with you as I am one of the local realtors in the area, and I would love the opportunity. In a year from now, when you guys are ready, I would love the opportunity to help you out. What's the best email that I can send you my contact info?
Pat@rebusuniversity.com.
Got it. Perfect. I'll send you my business card, so I'll get that out to you today, and then I'll be following up with you in the future. So when you are ready, I would love the opportunity to meet with you and see what I can do to help you out.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah, so that person, I'll send them a thank you note, and then I put them into a drip and a mailer.
And then you have like a reminder to call them.
Yes, I have a system, a lead follow up system that I follow.
What do you use, or do you just use an Excel sheet?
No, I'm old school, man. So I still use paper. So I keep that lead in front of me. I make all my notes. I print it out from Mojo, and I give it to my assistant, and then she'll send out the thank you card with the like a little just a little like a handwritten thank you card, and then she gives it back to me a week later. I call them just to remind them, hey, did you get my card? Yeah, oh, great, great, okay, perfect. That's my info right there. I'll be in contact with you, and every 3 months I'll put it in there to give it back to my assistant. She puts it in the system, and we have a binder of 12 months and then 30 days. So she just puts it in the right pocket, and when it gets to that date, she gives it to me.
You know what's hilarious? You're the third person in about 10 days who, when I ask about their follow-up system and that sort of things, has said to me they're going old school. They have just a spreadsheet or like sheets. All this money that some agents are spending on CRMs and follow-up and all that stuff. I mean, do you think that, clearly, have you ever tried a CRM and said, no, or did you, do you have any stories that way, or?
Yeah, yeah, that's why I'm old school. Because I tried. Yeah, I tried the top. I have Top Producer as my main database. I have all my contact records in there. I got Mojo. I had Commissions Inc. The thing is that if you get the reminder and if you don't snooze it or move it to another callback day, and that day goes by, you just lost that opportunity. And the next thing you know, is like, oh man, I was supposed to call this guy here like 3 days ago or a week ago. And so with the paper, I never lose that because it's right on. It's only one pile that I have, and that pile, everybody knows that's my lead follow up. So that's the pile that I work off every single day. My job is to go to that lead pile every day and rotate. It rotates every day, so it's visual.
Yeah, it's visual and it's there, right? And it's and you could write on it and you can make check marks on it and you can't delete it. Well, that's the thing, because
That's
I think
correct.
that's what happens is, especially, and I don't mean to generalize, but I say especially with agents that, that are on teams, they may get so backed up and frustrated, and the pressure might be so on that they might lie about, well, they called and there was no answer, or called and so, or they just delete it or check it or whatever. But when it's a piece of paper, I guess you could still write a fake note on it, but still, I think that it's more in your face for sure.
Well, yeah, exactly. And here's the thing: when you're doing lead follow up, something's gonna come up. They're gonna say something. You can't remember. You can't possibly remember everything on every lead unless you have something that you can write a quick note of what they spoke to you about in that moment. Hey, my mom just passed, or I had a death in the family, or whatever, something crazy. I had to get surgery next week, and then you can just reference that back right away. And when I had the tech key stuff where it's going to remind me, you can't really do all that. I mean, I guess you could, but for me, it just didn't work out for me.
So, it's interesting. Tell me about the Dave Ramsey leads. And guys, if you don't know what this is, basically it's, he has a list of agents that he recommends, that people go to his website, they talk to him, whatever. He advertises on his podcast. He advertises everywhere, basically on his blogs. If you need an agent, go here. And I read a statistic recently that said of all the things that Dave Ramsey does, like his seminars, his courses, his video courses, his books, of all the books he's written, the thing that he makes the most money on is real estate agent referral fees. Can you believe that?
I agree. I agree I agree, man. Because I just closed 3 deals this year, and I saw the checks that we sent them, 30%. So
yeah, and you're like, so how's that
but
work?
but at the same time, I'm not going to turn down that business because I didn't pay for it. I mean, it just, I signed up and and I got approved, and they go based on your record, they based on your numbers. You got to be a believer as well, And so when once they approve you, then you're in. And so here's the way it works. If a lead signs up today, then 3 EOP agents will get that lead. And so all three of us are calling that same client, and we're pretty much, competing within each other to get the business.
What's
They can only
EOP
get business
stand
one.
for?
Endorsed local provider.
Endorsed local provider. So then 3 endorsed local providers call, and they're like, hey, I'm Ramon from Dave Ramsey program. I was the agent, one of 3 agents that Ramsey recommends. Let's schedule time to meet. Is that pretty much what you do?
That's pretty much it. That's right. That's correct.
And then how often do 2 other people show up and you compete with them?
It's always. I mean, the agents usually are on top of their game. So everybody. I mean, you're competing constantly. So you just got to be on your A game, and when you show up, you just got to separate yourself, or give the best presentation, and it's a bonding thing. I mean, you got to be really good on your presentation when you meet with them.
Yeah. So how did you beat these other ones out and get those 3 commissions?
Well, you know what it is one of my strengths is lead follow-up. I'm very strong in my lead follow-up. So I'm very, very consistent because I already have a structured setup where every day I prospect and every day I do lead follow-up. So a lot of these agents drop the ball in the lead follow-up, but that's where I kind of kick in gear. And once I meet with them, it's kind of game over after that. You know what I'm saying?
So they may have filled out the form online, but they really weren't ready yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the agents, the other ELPs. Sometimes they don't follow up the way they're supposed to because we're all busy. So if we don't follow up with that client, then you have a missed opportunity. So you got to make sure that you're on top of them, calling them, following up until you get a hold of them and you meet with them. And then once you meet with them, you pretty much start building a relationship from there.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Okay. So, 28 years, long time. What is the best lesson you've learned, Ramona, after 28 years in the business? What's a good story of a lesson you've learned or a theme of lessons you've learned that we can learn from?
I think for me, I realized that when my production would go up and down, I really didn't like that feeling, the up and down and up and down. And so I kind of figured out that if I stayed consistent with my prospecting, I didn't have these ups and downs. I had more like a steady growth, steady income, month in and month out. I just didn't really feel comfortable with that. And I kind of figured that out that, as long as I was prospecting, 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours every day, even though days I didn't feel like doing it, I knew that next 90 days was going to be fine. And so I just kind of incorporated that. And I've always been, in every company that I worked for, I always ended up in the top 3 for the company. Because of that, just that single act of every day prospect, every day do lead follow up, no matter what, and then you don't have these ups and downs.
And so, what time do you usually block out to do your lead follow up?
8:30 to 12:30 is my normal routine. Again, I follow a lot of the Mike Ferry, systems that he has, where he teaches, and just prospect in the morning, and then you break for lunch. And then if you have no more appointments, get back on the phone and prospect or do some lead follow-up. So I think this is a very simple business. I think we complicate it. We get in the way and we just, I always think like, look, man, a guy down the street working, there's nothing wrong working at McDonald's, but let's just say, because I used to work at Jack in the Box, if he's getting paid 8 hours just flipping burgers, which is what I used to do, how hard is it to, for us realtors, what we get paid to do really is to talk to people and to build, conversations and relationships with people. So I just make it. I make it look that simple. I just realize this is my job. I just got to come in every day and, prospect, talk to people, and make, lead generate and make appointments, make deals happen.
And why do you think that most realtors struggle with that?
I think it's mostly ego. I think they're like, oh, I'm a realtor, so that's beneath me. I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't have to be knock on doors or call people. You know, they're trying to find the easy shortcut way of making business, you know, and that's not the way it works. So I think they just get in the way themselves, and they're not humble. They're hungry, but they're not humble enough sometimes. You know, I think that we got to humble ourselves, because it's not, you know, let's face it, making calls is not the easiest thing to do. That's probably the toughest. I think that's the toughest, our toughest job. I think, you know, as realtors, is getting on the phone and prospecting. That's that massive rejection. You know, that's what it is. We want it easy.
Yeah. And so like when you're on the phone in the mornings, like how many calls do you think are follow-up at this point, and how many are brand new, you know, FSBOs, expireds, circle prospecting? What percentage?
Oh, right now I'm doing, yeah, right now. Well, right now, here's the other thing I discovered, you know, in all my years of doing this, is that what I average, the number of contacts and Mike Ferry has always taught this, find out how many deals you want to do for the year, and then do that many contacts every day for at least 220 days out of the year. If I looked at my numbers last year, like I said, I did 8,858 contacts. Well, if I divide that into 220 days, I average 40 contacts a day. I closed 41 deals. So those numbers are perfect in alignment, exactly what the Mike Ferry system teaches. So right now I'm doing 75 contacts because I want to go with 75 deals this year, minimum.
Oh, so why did you decide to step it up now after 28 years, right? I mean, why'd you decide, okay, now I'm going to step it up?
I'm 48, man.
You just want to start saving more money so you could bail, right?
I need to build. Yeah, I need to get some more wealth, man. I want to buy some more property. So that's exciting for me. Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. Look, in 2008, when the market crashed and we all felt it in the real estate industry, I think we felt, you know, I lost 10 properties. I ended up losing. I lost my house. I had to file bankruptcy. It was a very
dark. Why? Tell me about that.
Dark valley, man. Well, because I over leveraged myself, you know, and I was just buying so much. Greed got in the way, to be honest, you know. And this is how you learn, right? You learn the lessons of life. And I just, you know, over leveraged myself with everything. And then the next thing you know, the market crashed, and I had 10 properties. I ended up having to sell all of them, plus my house. And so I ended up pretty much renting, you know, and I was like, man, I'm not doing that again. You know, so now this next time around, it's like, hey, I'm going to do it the right way. You know, I got to make sure that the properties that I buy, they're cash flowing right off the gate. So that was, I mean, I'm glad it happened. Otherwise, I wouldn't have not learned the lesson.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox. And it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now. Hey, real estate agents and rock stars. If you're getting value out of the content in this episode, make sure you like the video and subscribe to this channel. Also, click the little bell icon to be notified about upcoming episodes. And I would also love it if you left a comment and shared the most impactful tips and tactics you've learned from the knowledge shared in this episode, or even maybe make a suggestion requesting a topic of what you'd like to learn in future episodes. I welcome any feedback below. Now, back to the episode. So what, like, I'd love to talk to you about that. So, you know, what specifically are you doing differently, right? Because obviously we're A little late in the ball game. I don't know if we're in the fifth inning or the ninth inning, but what are you doing differently that's going to keep that from happening again?
Well, for one, like I said, this next time around, like the properties that I bought, the duplex and the fourplex, these properties that I bought, they're already cash flowing. So what I'm doing different is that I'm not gonna buy something unless when I make sure that when I close escrow, I'm already cash flowing. I'm following the advice of one of my mentors. He owns a lot of real estate, and I sat down with him. We had lunch, and I said, "Hey, I want to start buying real estate. What advice can you give me? I want to make sure I do it the right way this next time around." And he's like, well, you got to make sure that after all the expenses are paid, you're cash flowing $250 per door that you own,
Okay, so
minimum.
let me slow this down. So for every door, whether it's a duplex, triplex, or just a single house, you
Hmm.
need to make after mortgage payment, after management fee, after expenses, everything. You need to make $250 a month or $3,000 a year.
Positive cash flow. That's
Positive
correct.
cost, or don't buy it.
Or don't buy it. Right. And that's really hard to do because right now, if you buy something, you're breaking even. A lot of people are just breaking even. That's already bad right off the bat.
Right off the
You're
bat,
setting
that would
yourself
tell
up.
you don't buy it, right?
Right. That doesn't qualify. You know what I mean?
That's what
So,
you did 12 years ago, and that's what happened, right?
right. I was just buying everything and predicting that the market keeps going up, and now I'm gonna make it up, and with inflation, but that's not the way it worked. So I'm not doing that again. So the properties that I'm making, I'm actually making more than 250, but that was the kind of like the standard. Go below that.
Yeah, you're buying for cash flow and not for appreciation. I mean, like that. I talked to somebody this morning, and they were like, I bought 100 houses, but I'm 100% leveraged on them.
Mm.
And I thought to myself, I don't know if it's the best time to be 100% leveraged on anything. You know what I mean?
Uh,
Ideally, your loan to value would be, minimum, 75% when you start, and 50% when within 10 years or so, because of principal pay down, right? I mean, now's the time to have a lower and lower loan to value.
right. So to answer the question, I am getting older. I'm 48. So, I mean, I got another, I don't know, 15, 20 years, but I don't want to take 15, 20 years. I want to hurry up and push the envelope. And I think I surrounded myself with a pretty good team where, I'm able to prospect more and stay more focused and, be able to hit those contacts because, to do a lot of prospecting, you got to make sure that you have a good team around you that's going to support you and help you and take care of all the other, logistics of the business and the emails and all the stuff that we get bombarded with, so that's going to be important. So otherwise I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to hit those contacts I'm doing right now.
Yeah. So Ramon, there's a lot of people out there now that are building big teams, and they're they're adding 10 agents, 20 agents, 30 agents, and not really having very strict standards on prospecting and things like that. And here I could tell already that you have extremely high standards and good standards. You had two agents come in. They both spun out after two deals each, right? So
Hmm.
tell me about a little bit about your philosophy as to why it's better not to have any agents than have a bunch of agents that are only doing 2 to 4 deals a year. I mean, a lot of people listening to this will be like, hey, I would have just kept those agents because two deals is better than none.
Well, I mean, again, it's got to be profitable. I think we're running a business, and so we got to make sure that we set high standards. If they want to succeed, if they want to come in and they can make a lot of money and they can grow a lot if they want to. They have that same opportunity. But just for me, it doesn't work out when they're not willing to learn how to generate and grow their business. It's better for me to teach them the right tools and the right way of doing it, the right mindset, the right habits, so that they can grow themselves and make it happen. Because I do see people that have a lot of these huge teams, but then they're not making any money, so they can't. I talked to three different team owners that have big teams, and I asked them how many doors do you own, and they all told me the same thing: none. My house. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, that's not good, right? I mean, because you're making all this money, but you're not owning wealth. You're not buying anything. That's not good, So I'm doing it the opposite. I'd rather have a smaller team, but make a bigger profit, and then be able to put that money into real estate and buy property.
I mean, that's a great way to kind of be transparent, right? Like if you don't have a bunch of investments, you're not involved in investments, unless you're just putting $1 million in the stock market, which is probably doubtful. They're probably at the end of the day, they're not making a profit. I've had several very large teams on, and I've started talking investments, and just like you and I are now, and their answer to some of my questions has been like, I am investing in my team. And I go, okay, well, what do you mean by that? They're like, we're taking all the profit from our team and we're investing in it this year to make more money next year. And that was a subtle way of them telling me that they don't have a profit, right? Because investing in your team is an expense.
That's correct. Yeah, no, of course, yeah. And I see that people say, hey, you got to invest in. Grant Cardone says it, right? You either invest in real estate or you invest in people, or your business, right? Your business is you got a lot of people, you're going to invest in it. But he's doing, he owns what, 5,000 doors or 5,000 units, yeah. Right? So,
and that's under the assumption, and he's not necessarily talking to real estate agents only. When you're talking like, oh, you invest in people, that's almost like if you have a company that's saleable. And I think a lot of agents are delusional on really what and if they can be able to sell a team in the future. There's certainly been record of people doing it, but it is a lot harder than people anticipate. And I think there's a lot of agents out there that are like, yeah, someday I'll sell my team. Well, maybe if you decide to do it at a peak market or whatever, but once this market starts getting slow, people aren't going to be buying teams.
Yeah, that's correct. So that's a good point. So, like I said, I'd rather have a small team and keeping the majority of the profit than to have the big team and just making a small profit and then with no real estate. So I have my goal set. I just want to buy some more doors. I want to own more doors, and I see what my friends around me, the ones that are they're pretty much retired, and they're in their 50s, 40s, and 50s, and they're done. They're like, I don't have to go to work. They're taking 2-3 hour lunches because they don't have to clock in and cold call or do whatever because they already own so many doors. They don't have to do any of that.
Yeah, no, I love it. Well, this is great. I appreciate you being so candid and focused and with this. Now, was there any other questions or things you wanted to talk about today before we wrap this up, Ramon?
No, I think that, if you're a new agent out there, I think that you should I started door knocking. So grab one lead source and get really good at that one lead source, whether it's door knocking, whether it's cold calling, whether it's calling expires, whether it's FISBOs, just get one and get really, like what Tony Robbins talks about, immerse yourself, get so good at that one before you try to add. I think people are trying to add so many things to their business. It's like chasing too many squirrels, you know what I'm saying? So I think you got to get really good at one first before you jump and add another one. So whether it's on the phones or whether it's on the doors or whatever lead source it is, they just get really, really good at that one before you can start adding anything else.
Yeah. And that kind of ties into the question we always ask, which is, if you were on a game show and you were going against other agents, how would you win? How would you sell more houses than them? And it seems like your answer to that would be, you would just start door knocking and prospecting for listings for free, meaning without having to pay any money, right?
That's correct. Well, yeah, that's correct. That's, when I was a kid, I used to sell oranges from door to door. I used to sell oranges from door to door. You know what I'm saying? Thank God my dad had me doing that. So when I got in real estate and they told me I had to go sell houses door to door, I'm like, I'm used to it, man. Let's roll with this. Why not? If I was selling oranges and watermelons door to door for $1, I want to sell these $500,000 houses from door to door.
That's crazy. So your dad just gave you a cart of oranges and watermelons that that he grew or something and said, go sell these?
Pretty much every summer.
That's awesome. I wish more dads would do that to their kids every summer, right? Like here's a bunch of watermelons, go sell them. That's great. All right, Ramon, well, let's talk about your free gift. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So that's the analytical. Is basically all it is just like the CTE we use at Keller Williams. All it is I plug in my numbers. It's already got formulas in there. So as I plug in my numbers every month, it kind of gives you an average of what are your numbers look like. So I'm looking at mine for 2018. But for right now, for what it was last year, every 197 contacts gave me a pending deal. So this is broken down by contacts, so how many contacts you're doing. So, I know that every hour that I prospect last year was $990 and 36 cents based on the income that I made for the year. So it kind of gives you a little motivation, a little encouragement because, we can get discouraged. But if you punch in your numbers on a monthly basis, it's an Excel sheet. That's all it is. But if you punch in your numbers you track your numbers really good, then you'll get a total at the end of the year, at the end of the column, and then it gives you an average of where you're at. So this is very transparent of who you are and what do your numbers look like. At first, they might look really bad, but once you get that momentum going, your numbers you look forward to. You're looking at improving your numbers every month. Yeah, that's what that sheet is.
Yeah, and everybody should be using this sheet, guys. So I'm going to put this on hybendigital.com/Ramon Sanchez. That's RamonSanchez, just like it sounds. hybendigital.com/Ramon Sanchez. I'm also going to put it in the Agent Success Toolbox, which can be found on hybendigital.com/toolbox or texting the word toolbox to 444-999. I'm going to put all of Ramon's contact information. So if you guys have a referral you want to send him, or just want to chat with him and say thank you for being so candid today, I'll put that on there as well. Ramon, you've been a great guest. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. And if I'm ever in Los Angeles, I will look you up and we can get together and break some bread.
Amen to that. That's what I'm talking about. And if you know anybody out there that's looking to join a team that wants structure and they want some discipline and and learn how to prospect on the phone, and they're welcome to call me or send me a text.
There you go. 3 times the charm, right? You get the third person in there, and you're going to do it right, and they're going to, I'm sure a brand new agent, if they actually listen to what you say, would kill it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They actually did what you do.
Yeah, it's funny because real quick, I had 2 guys that just started with me 2 weeks ago, and after the 3rd day, one of the guys, he bounced. He's like, "Oh no, he didn't even." He just sent me a text that night. "I'm sorry, man. This is too much for me. I can't handle this. I'm out. I can't. I'm not returning on Monday." And then the other guy, I when I saw him the next day, I said, "Hey man, am I really too hard? Do I have too high of expectations?" And the guy's like, "No, dude, I love it," because he was a part of another team and he just joined my team. And he's like, "No, I'm excited about this," And so he had a different attitude than the other gentleman, So the other guy was like, "Oh no, this is too hard." And he didn't even. I texted him back and said, "Hey, can you at least tell me what happened? Well, what do you feel that the pressure?" He never responded. He just disappeared completely. That was weird.
Softness. I mean, you should know going in. Maybe they never had any experience cold calling before, so he didn't know, the rejection it entailed. But I think if you make it past the 60 days or so of cold calling, I mean, you're in. Like you're good at that point.
Yeah, time to build some wealth. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. All right, buddy. Well, great talking to you. Thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. It was an honor, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Real Estate Rockstars. If this free content is giving you a ton of value, I want to ask a small favor in return. I need you to pull out your pointing finger and hit the subscribe button. Yes, hit subscribe, please. The more subscribers that we get on Real Estate Rockstars, the better guests are attracted to the shows. We'll get more guests from the top companies, from the top teams, and even more celebrity guests like Robert Kiyosaki and Barbara Corcoran. Also, If you're not a member of our free Facebook group, go to Real Estate Rockstars Radio right on Facebook and join the conversation. I'm on there myself on FaceTime Lives, and we have a lot of communications and questions about the show, and I'd love to see you there. And it's free. People ask me all the time, where am I on social media? I'm real easy to find. Just type in my name. My IG is I am Pat Hyben. It is blowing up on Instagram, adding tons of subscribers, and I'm on there probably twice a day. So definitely follow me on Instagram, as well as everywhere else. Thanks again for listening, and keep rocking.